Hi, how are you? I hope you're good. I wanted to make a video based off of my previous video talking about switching from public school to Catholic school because I thought it would be, it, it would lead into this one. So, yeah. So, like I said in my previous video, I initially went to public school and it was very different from Catholic school. Like, the people were completely different too. There's a lot more, mean people in public school, if I'd say that. I think it's just because there's more different people, there's more differences, so everybody's different, so there's more disagreements, if that makes sense. Whereas Catholic school is more like organized and uh maybe we're not all the same obviously, but like I think the organization kept people in check better or just kind of made it so that I don't know, people felt less free. Maybe it was the discipline aspect. I think kids were more uh could get in trouble more. Like for example, wearing makeup at the school was not allowed and I had to go to the only time I ever went to detention there, which I was always a good kid. The only time I went to detention was for wearing mascara because I was blonde, so my eyelashes are blonde. So it was really obvious when I was wearing mascara, even like the clear stuff, which doesn't really do much to my lashes. Uh, but the other girls would get away with it. Well, not all of them, but the non-blonde girls. But what I'm trying to say is that it was pretty strict, but I liked that because people were mean. Like I was different from everybody, but like it wasn't like the end of the world. Like I wasn't gonna get punched or something, even though I was threatened. If that makes sense. Like I think it was just so controlled. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I actually really liked Catholic school, and some people might think that's weird, like they hear that, but I really enjoyed it, and I really liked just the fact that one thing I really liked was the uniforms was my favorite part, actually. Like wearing the uniforms. There was one point in my life when I was a kid that I didn't like wearing uh normal clothes. Like even like outside of school, I would wear my uniform, which is kind of weird to say. And I think my mom was like embarrassed by me doing it, but they were just so comfortable and I didn't have to like think about what to wear. I would just put whatever on. And it's funny cuz even like today, like nowadays, I have like I've kind of embraced it. I have like a certain specific style or like type of clothing that I feel comfortable in, and I would wear it every day. Like I'd have different versions of it and wear it every day and not feel weird about it. And I'm trying I think I've got past it, like not caring if somebody sees me in the same outfit or the same kind of style. It's like whatever, like I'm comfortable, fuck you. So, um but it it kind of relates back to now. Like I just like having structure and not having to like stress out about being a specific way. So it was nice. And like even though we had uniforms, I would always like wear bows in my hair and always make sure that I had like matching shoes and my stockings or whatever were like cute and lacy and like I wore a necklace all the time and a ring because they allowed some like a ring and a necklace and I really liked like styling the outfit. It was so fun and our uniforms were blue and that's like pretty much my favorite color besides pink. So it was really cool. I really liked it and I sometimes wish I could like go to like a college with uniforms. That doesn't exist, I don't think. Or maybe someday, like, have my own school. I thought about it, like, it'd be cool to have my own school and, like, I don't know. It was just so fun to have a uniform, and I I have had work uniforms too, like, when I worked at a bagel shop. That was my first job, and we, like, wore the apron, and I always thought that was cute too, and, uh I've worked at a few horse places that make you wear, like, their shirts, which is cool too, but it was never the same, like, you know, I like I like having something that I could just wear every day and, like, feel like I don't have to think about it, you know? And with this current job that I have right now, I'm a receptionist. I don't really have a uniform, like, they tried to give me a uniform, but the clothes were so uncomfortable that I was just like, "Fuck that. I didn't want to do that." So now I just wear whatever I want. So, but aside from the clothing aspects, mm, I liked the structure. So, like, we'd go to church every Wednesday, I think it was. I think it was Wednesday, or Friday. I don't remember. But, like, in Catholic school, you were always next to the people. So we were, like, ordered by numbers, and I was always towards the end-ish. We were ordered by letters, the letters of our last name, and I was always next to my crush. Like, my crush was, like, right next to me in line, and it was so awesome. So, this is another thing. In church, in Catholic church, you get to hold hands because they do the prayer, the group prayer. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I got to hold my crush's hand. Like, that's so cool. I always looked forward to church. I know that sounds so silly, but, like, oh my gosh. I would hold his hand and, like, I'd really, like, soak it up. And it was so nice. I don't uh sorry. And I don't really like church. I just liked holding my crush's hand and seeing my crush and being next to him and sitting next to him. That was nice. Um, but I never really liked church though. Like I didn't like the standing up and then the sitting down and then I thought communion was kind of fun though. Like standing in line and like or like before you got communion, you'd go up if you weren't baptized, you'd have to do this to get blessed instead of getting, like, the Eucharist and, like, the yeah, and so that was a big moment for me, like, switching to Catholic school. Um, I could go on about that more. Uh, I I like I said, I didn't really like church, but I did complete my I went through the whole all the grades and everything, and I graduated, so I did get confirmed in Catholicism, but at the time, I didn't even want to, like, I already knew, like, this stuff is, like, I it doesn't click with me, I never thought, like, any of it made sense, and my mom was, like, really bummed about me not wanting to get confirmed because I told her, like, "I don't really want to do it," and she, like, bought me a book about the Pope or something, and I just, like, was like, "Oh, my mom really wants me to get confirmed, like, it's making her sad." So I got confirmed because I wanted to make my mom happy, and it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, like, I went to some, like, ceremony and, I asked my teacher to be my, sponsor or whatever, and she was okay. I don't know why I asked her, 'cause she was, like, my math teacher, and I was really bad at math, but she was fine being my sponsor, I don't know. But oh, one thing I liked, though, is that I think when you become confirmed, correct me if I'm wrong, you get to choose, like, your saint, your second your it's like your 4th name or something like that, and so I chose Agatha as my name, Saint Agatha as my saint, because I liked Pokemon, and Agatha was like the ghost gym leader or Elite Four member, not Elite Four, and that's the main reason. But the funny thing about Agatha, Saint Agatha, is she has this whole thing about getting her breasts cut off, and I didn't know that until I actually like learned about her besides her name. And oh, it was disturbing. It's a very disturbing story. It's like some dude like fell in love with her and she didn't want to be with him and then he like tortured her and cut her. Anyway, it's very disturbing. But another thing is that we had to do reports on our saints. So I had to get up in front of my class and talk about that. Like, oh, I'm Saint Agatha, and this happened to me, and oh, there's a lot of moments in my life, at least in Catholic school, where I was like the unhinged kid, but I was really shy. I was really quiet. I was really like no one knew I existed. I was just like in the back, like background. But like I'd come out of my shell randomly and people were like, "What the fuck?" Like during a play once in Catholic school, I really wanted to be in the play and I never like wanted to do anything in class. Like I didn't do sports. I just kind of stayed in the background like I said. But when we did our play, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be I forgot. I was the ghost of Christmas past. And I was super into it. I like got the I had a Teen Titans Raven costume, and so I wore that as my well, not the leotard, but I wore the cape, the blue cape as my uh costume with like a white dress and I like made my face like all white and stuff like a spooky ghost. And I did really good. Honestly, not trying to be like braggy, but I think I did the best. And it was pretty cool because like I said, like I was always in the background. Another example of that was when I was in class and I was like doing my homework and during class while the teacher was teaching and that's not something that you should be doing. But I was trying to get my work done. Like, come on, like let me get my work done. If anything, just let me do it because at least I'm doing it. But my teacher was like, "Maple, what are you doing?" And I was like, "What does it look like?" She was like, and everybody around me like and I was just like standing my ground. I was like, she's like, "You need to go outside." I'm like, "Whatever." And I went outside and she's like, "You can't talk to me that way. You can't talk to me like that in front of everybody else, Maple. That's not right." And I was like, sassy. I didn't like the way she was talking to me, so she deserved that, in my opinion. But yeah, I have a lot of experiences from half Catholic school, like I mentioned, like the makeup situation. My crush, that would be a really fun one to talk about because I was like in love with him from third grade. He like picked on me in third grade, but I like loved him. And it's funny because he looked a lot like he has freckles like my husband. And I think that's probably something that I really like is freckles. Obviously, I have freckles. Uh, but it was really cute. I really like this guy, and that'd be fun to talk about. But what else? But I think that while I didn't fit in, I did have a few friends that I liked a lot too. Like I said, um, I kind of I kind of hung out with like the kids that didn't really fit in. It's funny because when I was younger, I'm still kind of the same person where like I really liked frogs and stuff. I liked Teen Titans. I liked anime. I liked Harry Potter. Ron specifically. I loved Ron Weasley. He was like I was like in love with him. And it was I was kind of like a fangirl, and I don't think other people liked that. Like, I doodle a lot and draw and stuff, and my teachers would always, like, be like, "Hey, Maple, you can't be doing that. You can't color on the back of your assignments." And I was always like, so I kinda stopped drawing. That was sad, 'cause I think I used to draw a lot better than I do now. Whatever. The sad thing is that, like, after after middle school or the whole I I really wanted to go to Catholic high school, but my parents didn't have the money to afford that. They only had the money to afford my initial schooling, which makes sense because it was expensive, and high school was really, really expensive. But I still kind of wish that I was able to do that. I don't think I would have been able to handle it just because I was so bad at math, but it would have still made me happy because my friends did go to Catholic high school, and so I missed out on all that. But at the same time, they got kind of crazy, and maybe I wouldn't have fit in with them anyway at that point. A lot of my friends kind of drifted away. I, I just, I'm not really interested in like partying and like um whatever comes with partying. It doesn't interest me. So I was always kind of like my friend told me, you were always kind of like the mom. You were like always like making sure that we were behaving and or not doing bad things, and you're always like good and nice, and which makes me kind of sad. I don't want to be that person. I want to be the person that like has fun. Like, even today, like, people will be like, "Oh, I don't want to offend you, Maple." And it's like, I don't want to be offended either. I want to I want to be here and experience this without feeling like there's something bad about it, you know? But not to say that I'm like a prude. I don't think I am. Like, but I don't know. But it did make me sad that I wasn't able to go to Catholic high school. I actually ended up doing public high school for a little bit, which, like I said, like switching from public elementary to to middle school, elementary and middle school Catholic school was difficult. But it's even more difficult, in my opinion, to switch from Catholic school over to public high school, especially in the same vicinity where you did elementary school, so people still kind of remember you from elementary. Oh, it was terrible. Like, people were so like, honestly, I think they were kind of jealous of me, but they were nice to me, and I did not want to deal with that at that point in my life, so I started doing independent study instead, which I preferred because in math I was really bad, like I mentioned before. So I struggled throughout high school and I cheated a lot. And on my final week of high school, when they were teaching, or when I was doing the test for algebra, because we did algebra, because that's like the hardest thing they had at that for me, because I couldn't handle. I think I even did pre-algebra. I don't even know if it was full on algebra, but I'm not good at that. Uh, I had my friend so I took my test that was incomplete. I left the independent study school and was like, "Oh, I'll be right back." I went to my friend's house. She filled it out for me because she's smart. And I brought it back and I passed. And I paid her with hair extensions. Pretty cool. I wouldn't have been able to make it through high school, or I would have been able to eventually, but it would have taken me a long time without that friend. I owe her a lot. I've told her that many times. She actually forgot about it. I was like, "Dude, you really helped me." Anyway, so I've always been bad at math. Always. It's not because is it because I'm not smart at math, or is it because it's boring? I don't I don't know. I don't know which is which. Uh, but I kind of went off on a tangent, so sorry. I hope you liked it. Okay, bye.